Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over the severe threat for next Monday and Tuesday with all severe modes possible: tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail. Stay tuned to find out what's going to come. We're going to start this video off today like every other video and look at the SPC outlook, which is one of the easiest ways to see what the days are going to do. So today we've got a slight risk up in the northeastern United States and in the southeastern United States. Two different slights. Both of them have 2% tornado. Actually, sorry, now the northern one has 5%. I have not looked at this new update. So now the northern mode has 5% tornado threat. And then the wind is 15%, and the hail is a lot lower, but it's still 15%. It's a lot smaller. It's in that exactly almost where that tornado is, a little bit north of the tornado threat. But yeah, it's actually gotten a little bit more significant looking than I thought before. But let's look at day 2. Day 2 looks pretty barren, honestly. As you can see, actually that's a good thing for the severe threat on, well, bad thing for any of you guys probably, but good thing for like the severe possibilities, because that will take away a lot of the limiting factors that could have been, like the capping and that kind of stuff from morning convection. So we've got, in response to the upper trough, that'll kind of be going away, and this is a lot less, because before it was showing thunderstorms all the way up through here. They've taken that way out. All of it's been gone. Now let's check day 3, where it gets interesting. We have an enhanced risk for parts of Texas, eastern Texas, and western Louisiana. And we've got an enhanced risk, obviously, and we've got a pretty large slide around that. And the marginal is kind of an odd, looking up near Oklahoma and that kind of stuff. So we have a severe enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms centered over portions of the eastern Texas and western Louisiana. Severe storms appear likely to occur across an area centered over eastern Texas and into western Louisiana Monday. So let's look around for anything that says anything about tornadoes. So here we go. We'll support the expansion of elevated thunderstorms across the central Texas and Oklahoma through the morning hours. This is this morning convection, which could limit the storm mode, or it could help it like it did on March 5th in Iowa, if it can get through quick enough and leave enough moisture behind. But we're looking at right now, this could be something to watch. So if this doesn't get out of the way, then it could be a complete bust, but otherwise it could be a pretty significant day. This complicates the forecast for later in the day. So it could move it later in the day. It could also cast uncertainty into the degree of the surface-based cape which may develop, which that could also completely limit this thing like a lot, and particularly in the northward extent, obviously, because cape comes from the south. And gradual south to north destabilization of the boundary layer is expected, at least across east central portions of Texas. So at least there are going to be severe storms right about on the southern part. It could just limit the northern parts. So yeah, that's going to be something to watch for if you live up near Oklahoma. It could be nothing, or it could be everything, depending on what the morning convection can do. Potential for surface-based storm development is evident near the advancing dry line across central Texas. Meanwhile, further east, storms across the southern portion of the larger ongoing area of convection could become surface-based with time. Now that's where the tornado threat will be. The little bit of a more tornado threat will be eastern, in front of the line. So then they're not riding the line on it, but they're actually just in front of the line in the warm sector. Strong increasing flow with height and combined with substantial veering to the lowest 3 km will provide shear quite favorable for supercells. Yes, we're going to go through the shear next on the NAM model, but it looks pretty strong now. I think there was almost 60 knots in some parts. As such, along with the potential for large hail developing in central Texas, tornadoes should increase with afternoons further east. So as the day gets later, then that's where the threat will start raising. So it'll be general thunderstorms, and then they'll start rising about right here, and this is where they'll all erupt and possibly tornadic and large hail. It could be. We could be looking at fairly significant hail and maybe 1 or 2 stronger tornadoes, which we don't know yet. Tomorrow they'll drop their percentages for tornadoes and everything like that. It could be 10% significant, but we should not be calling this SPC stuff this far out. We know it's enhanced now, but we don't want to call 10% tornado or anything like that, because you never know. It could downtrend completely. But it looks like it's here to stay, so it's really keep watch as this thing gets nearer. So now we're going to check out day 4, which is Tuesday. And we got another, this is even bigger, 30%. It actually looks more significant than Monday now, as the models have gotten closer. This day's really taken up a lot. Looks scary, honestly, to me at least. Space for significant tornadoes. Now you see that? It says height falls within high-end parameter space for significant tornadoes. This one actually mentions significant tornadoes in it, and it's day 4. This day will be something completely to watch, and this is a classic Dixie setup, straight through Mississippi and Louisiana into Alabama overnight. But definitely could be something, and we need to watch this very closely, as any uptrends or downtrends can affect a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Because as it says right now, there's 2 million people in this 30% and 6 million in the 15. So that's not very big difference, honestly, between those two. But it's a lot of people. That is a lot of people that need to be careful and watch out for these forecasts and see. Stay tuned. I'll probably be streaming that night, maybe, if I'm able to. Hopefully, I should be able to. But severe potential will likely continue into Wednesday through the upper system. Sheared, elongated, and then we get our next few days are going to be another 15. Actually, sorry, the next day is going to be 15, and then it kind of gets out, and predictability too low for that next day, and then potential too low as we get to the end of the forecast. So definitely our days to watch are day 4, Tuesday, and day 3, Monday. So now we're going to dive into a few more things on the models. The first thing we'll look at is most unstable cape. It's a good way to see what the highest cape value is going to be, and we'll take a few soundings on us also. So let's go through this loop on the NAM. So yeah, you can see during the mornings there's some really strong, and then about, what is this, 9Z, we've got some extremely strong in front of this. This is where this the in front of the line storms could form, which would be more tornadic, honestly, than the ones on the line. That is a weird looking hodo up there. And we got 3100 cape. That is insane values, even especially with that morning convection. That is an insanely high amount of cape, and the dew points and the temperatures are exactly the same. That's pretty rare to see, really, and that's impressive, honestly. And our directional shear, that is, I don't like that. That is not a very good wind profile. It looks really messy. But it's still, over here says tornado possible, but don't look at that usually. And we've got pretty good LCL, and we've got pretty impressive shear, but it's not like as crazy as further north. Further north, there's a lot better shear for tornadic development. Let's go actually look at the shear at the moment. Let's see what the sin is, the cap. This is what takes away the threat of tornadoes and in storms in general, really. It takes completely almost away possibilities because it limits storm. Yeah, you see that morning convection leaves that line, and then it just wide open. It's completely wide open for in this warm sector right here. There's going to be possibilities of some significant tornadoes in the afternoon hours of Tuesday or Monday. Sorry, the night hours of Monday, or yeah, night hours of Monday, early morning Tuesday, as we get closer. So let's actually look at some of the shear. So our shear values are like 80 knots. That is insane, actually. We've got some really strong, and see those storms are forming in that sector with this strong shear. 90 knots almost. That is absolutely insane for values like that. That is extremely high for this time of year. Well, actually, no, this is about right for this time of year. It's another southern setup like usual, but we need to watch out for this because this could be a pretty significant day depending on that morning convection. And how it actually gets out of the way. So, the dew points for this day. We're actually going to look at this for a minute, and as you can see, these dew points are starting to rise, and they should be up near 60s, almost maybe some 70-degree dew points in parts of Texas Monday evening and night. All right, so 60-degree dew points, 69-degree dew points, that almost is 70-degree dew points, as you can see. So now let's actually look at some of the reflectivity with precip type. As it loads up, sorry. All right, so let's go through this, and we'll go through this loop and see what it's showing as the morning convection comes through. So you see morning convection. Actually, so that's the day. It just looks, these are not convection-aligned models, cams, so you won't be able to get a very good view, but that looks like a hook echo on the NAM. Reflectivity, which is pretty impressive, honestly, for this thing like this. So we've got hook echoes on the NAM, and then that next day you can see that. Look at that. It's going to be a really complex system of tornadic storms. You see the southern storms are going to have a chance of tornadoes just about as high as anything in between, actually probably higher on the southern end with a more discrete mode. So let's check the total quantitative precipitation, which is going to be interesting. So let's look right here. What is the amount of precipitation? Look at this, 3 inches of precipitation. That's insanely high. That is why these are going to be pretty significant, possibly, because they're going to be completely rain wrapped at night, evening hours. It's going to be bad. So just, you need to keep your weather radio on. We need to keep everything like that on so you're ready for if there's a tornado warning in your area, because these could be significant. I'm going to say it now. These could be significant tornadoes overnight, Monday and Tuesday morning. Now, you see here, there's actually a lot less precipitation. Some of these could be completely isolated from the main storms, which will be low precipitation tornadoes, which will be great for like storm chasers and stuff. That'll be interesting to watch also. So let's look at supercell composite. These composites are not overly great to look at, but these are good for grabbing some sounding sometimes if you want to cherry pick them. But we're going to go through it and see how high the values are for supercell composite. All right, there we go. And there. Let's see what it grabs. 18? 18. Let's see what this sounding shows. Probably extremely high. It's a PDS tornado sounding. That's interesting. That is an insane looking hodo. Look at this thing. It goes up and it wraps around. That is impressive, honestly. That is extremely impressive. 2200 cape and no SNH at all. And the LCL is pretty strong. And we got, jeez, look at this sounding though. We've got, according to all of this stuff, it's pretty significant looking. The cape's actually the lowest thing. For being honest here, the cape's probably the lowest thing on this list. This is an insane sounding for, what time is this? This is at 21Z Monday. So this is Monday afternoon. I think that's like 3 o'clock or something. Maybe 2, I think, because it's daylight savings. Yeah, something like that. Now, a significant tornado parameter. This is also something not to look at all. But we're going to look at it just because that brings a lot of interest into this. So look, wow. Wow, look at this. Is that a 5? Sigtor 5, almost 4.9. What does this sounding look like? Oh my gosh, that is a disgusting looking hodo. What is this? What in the world? What does it even look like? I don't even know. It's like super crazy, that beginning part, and then again it gets just funky and weird. But yeah, this is not gonna do anything. Look at this weird profile. Wind profiles are really off on that thing. The next day, see that? Let's grab this and see if there's any good. But this is overnight, so this is before the kind of threat would be. It's a 4.1 still over here. So we got PDS tornado sounding over there and over here. The STP, fixed STP, is extremely high on this thing. The cape is back to the same height. This is almost more impressive than the other day. Look at this hodo. That is insane for tornadic development. There will definitely be massive hail and possibly 1 or 2 strong tornadoes. Both days even, maybe. But little far out. As we get to cams, I want to see what they show. I'm kind of scared to see what day 1 HER actually shows for the composite. And yeah, you see cape, and then we got all this. It's pretty strong. Everything's pretty strong. So definitely stuff to watch out for and be careful for over the night hours of Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. Want to be careful. Keep your weather radios on and everything like that. Let's go to the next thing. All right, so we're going to go to some of these medium range models that show the pressure in fronts. So day 3, we've got this. You see this cold front coming through with this oscillated front, and this cold front right here is going to be the significant one for storms. And then that warm front's going to bring all of that moisture up, which is what you're going to have to watch out for, how that warm front warms. And then you see this cold, and then could be a triple point kind of cold core setup up farther north, up in like Indiana and stuff. And yeah, you see this is another cold front coming behind it, and this is where these storms will be pushing out, and then day 5 it'll kind of be gone and be on this last riding line of storms. And maybe there's another back half. That's maybe why they said uncertainty for day 5. But that's interesting because these fronts, you can see that this warm front right here is going to bring all of that moisture out of the Gulf and clash with this cold air coming from behind. This is where these tornadic development is. This area right here. This oscillating front is too far north, and anything up here could maybe have some thunderstorms, but definitely nothing as significant as this warm front riding, bringing all this moisture right up from the Gulf. It could be up to dew points, I'm pretty sure I've seen, are up to like 50s and 60s, maybe up in a little further north, probably not 60s up this far north, but maybe up to here at least. But maybe 50 dew points all around this central Midwest, Western United States. Could be some just general thunderstorms as we get seeing that, but I'm interested to see how far they'll bring that marginal north. I'm wondering if they'll bring it maybe a little further north to southern Missouri. Don't ask why it took me so long to think of that. It's the state neighboring me that's like 10 minutes away from me. Southern Missouri and maybe even Kansas bring up that marginal, but I don't know yet. We'll have to watch as it gets a little closer. But yeah, you see those cold fronts coming through, bringing in that severe weather. Then after that, we'll get a lot of high pressure. See this? And that a bunch of high pressure coming through day 6. And then day 7, you see high pressure, high pressure. All of this is completely high pressure dominated, which will be very limiting for any sort of severe weather. So after this next few days, we should have a pretty quiet rest of the few weeks before the end of the month. But then it could ramp up again, maybe. To finish off this video, we're going to look at the Climate Prediction Center, one of my favorite things I always look at near the end of the videos. So we've got below average temperatures for parts of the southern United States in the next 6 to 10 days. This is after these severe storms move out. You can see that cold front brings in very, very cool air, relatively cool air for those areas, because obviously it's not like super cold, but it's relatively cold because seasonally cold especially. And the below average precipitation for this whole area too. Look at this. There's almost going to be no precipitation possible for these parts that are going to get slammed by a bunch coming up. Now it's 8 to 14 day. We've got almost the same thing, but we got below average for parts of a little further north, but it's starting to weaken. There's going to be some storms, I think, in this 8 to 14 day period. And then 3-4 week, we've got another below average, but look, this is where we're going to start getting severe weather, probably for the more northern United States. Then we're back to above average temperatures. This is where we're going to start getting severe weather for this portion of the United States. Maybe not quite here, but this part of Dixie, and maybe even further north, especially up in like the Ohio River Valley, maybe Iowa, maybe even like parts of Nebraska and stuff could start seeing severe weather with this warmer temperatures. Now, 1 month outlook, that same kind of thing, but it's way lower for Dixie. This is where we're interested. Maybe we'll have a slower Dixie season, but a lot of the La Nina is what's kind of driving some of this severe weather, as we've noticed. And I've read a lot of things that said severe season could be, early severe season, March, April, May, could be brought a lot further north than usual because of the La Nina happening. Now, 3-month outlook, we've got much below average for these parts, but we've got just a little bit below average, and then we've got equal and above for parts of the eastern Midwest. It's kind of funny to say, the eastern Midwest. Above average precipitation and about equal. So I think we'll have about an average season for these parts right here. But this, I think, again, we're going to have another below average season for the plains, which is kind of disappointing for a lot of people, but I think it's going to be another below average season. Now, you see the risk of the temperatures. We've got a below average temperature for the southeast and Dixie, and heavy snow, there's none. And precip, it doesn't say any yet, but I think they might put one up for day 4. And winds, we've got it up for the northeast. So that's about it for this one. We're going to look at some of the drought risk, though. And the monitor right here shows a lot of developing droughts for parts of Texas. This is going to be insanely bad. As you can see, the seasonal outlook shows a lot of Louisiana getting into this because of the lack of rain that's going to happen. You see that? Drought removal likely for Oklahoma or for Florida and Georgia, but see that? It's going to just develop over in Louisiana. That's just not good for a lot of these parts. And you can see Texas is going to be almost fully, it's going to be basically fully in a drought. So that's really bad for that area. Hopefully they can get some good precipitation coming tomorrow and the next day to try to take away that drought. But they're way below average, especially parts of the east, the western United States. You see that? All of this, all of California, every single ounce of California is under a drought right now. So they need some precipitation fast. But yeah, there needs to be a lot of precipitation, but it doesn't look like they're going to get it, sadly. To conclude, I think we're going to have a pretty significant few next days, but we need to keep watching as it gets closer. And what the cams are going to show the day of and the day before is going to really dictate what's actually going to happen. So I'm intrigued to see. Stay tuned. I should be streaming those 2 days. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that little bell so you're notified of every upload and stream I do. So that's about it for this video. So I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.